Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
Being able to support families to say, hey, we have basic needs that you can walk out with. Those donations coming in throughout the year really help us make sure that this family understands that the community is there to support them.
We're in the season of giving. One Odessa man wants to capitalize on that generosity while raising awareness about helping those who face domestic or sexual violence. We have that story plus more local donations coming up on CBS7 First Alert News at 9. And thank you for joining us this evening. Great to be here with you. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks for also streaming with us on the CBS7 YouTube channel. We begin tonight with news in our local government where spring cleaning is starting early for Odessa City Management. A new task force has been created to clean up any problems within city departments. When Odessa City Manager John Beckmeyer started with Odessa back in August, he wanted to implement a new task force to identify areas in the city that could be improved. The review will primarily look for changes to make working with each department more streamlined and for any ways to save money, but only where it makes sense.
I've gone into organizations over time and found efficiencies, found better ways to make the organizations run and to run more in a not just efficient, but in a more streamlined manner.
Now also, the task force is made up of managers and directors from risk management, finance, communications, and audit, but it will continue to grow throughout the process as they find roles for people from other departments to fill. This process will include talking with leadership from the department to determine what can be improved, if anything.
We'll be working with them in actually collaborations to talk about what they do in the various areas, how they are working with their different policies in terms of the governance. So it will be a collaboration effort.
Each of the city's more than 30 departments will receive its own review that will last, on average, at least 3 weeks. In the Tall City now, our Noe Ortega tagged along with City Councilman Dan Corrales today as they climbed up a water tower. Corrales used this as a way to see how the city maintains their array of 10 water towers. The water pressure in your faucets is maintained by gravity because the higher these towers go, the higher the pressure, which is why they check them to make sure there's no rusting, no contamination, and that the pumps are working properly.
Looking at how much goes into maintaining it. There's a lot of steel up there. They have to paint it. They have to make sure that it's well maintained. It doesn't corrode. So there's a lot that goes into it. It isn't just build it and it takes care of itself.
And you know, apart from the climb, there's also a lot of technology that goes into maintaining these big water towers.
Make sure the planes can see it. I think we're in a fly zone here, so you can't operate a drone without permission. You have your communications equipment there. Then you have a solar panel, a battery for what's called a pack mixer, which thanks to Jesse, I know it is now. And that's to just recirculate the water.
And after the inspection, it was determined that everything was in good shape. Let's go to Andrews County now, where the sheriff's office says deputies were taken on a chase that went through 3 counties. Officials say that the chase began in Howard County, but quickly moved into Dawson, then Andrews counties. The chase went down Highway 115 with a white Chevy Tahoe. That SUV avoided spike strips that were set up 14 miles east of Andrews on 115. The suspect then nearly hit law enforcement vehicles after avoiding more spikes at Highway 176 and 115. But the vehicle soon ended up hitting an Andrews County Constable unit and hit a telephone pole on the 1500 block of Highway 176 just east of the Andrews city limits. 28-year-old Luis Vieira Jr. of Portales, New Mexico was taken to the hospital for minor injuries but was arrested. Vieira is now facing charges of evading arrest in a motor vehicle, reckless driving, as well as criminal mischief. Vieira also had warrants out of New Mexico, and more charges could be filed against Vieira. Time now for a check of your CBS7 First Alert forecast. Chief Meteorologist Tom Tieferteller is standing by with what we can expect. Tom?
Well, an upper level disturbance moved across the area today. Not a lot associated with it in the way of rain. Now it has pushed off to the east into portions of central and east Texas. Your futurecast showing that we're going to start off with some low clouds across portions of west Texas first thing in the morning. So keep that in mind with your travel plans because there may be a patch or two of fog in there before things start to clear out by the afternoon hours. And really looking pretty good for travel statewide as we will see a couple of showers along the Texas Gulf Coast. But then our attention turns in towards Saturdays. We're going to see this next disturbance roll across, and that's going to bring some better rain chances to the forecast. It looks like coming up later on Saturday and into the evening hours. But the good news is the system's fast moving, so we're going to clear out. Your holiday forecast showing a cold front arriving coming up on Christmas Eve Sunday, so cooler temperatures on the way, and it's going to be downright chilly for Christmas Day.
Tom, thank you very much. Well, happening today, winter is no longer coming because it is here. Astronomical winter begins on the solstice today. It's the shortest day of the year. You can see it's already dark out there. It has been for quite some time, with most Americans seeing 9 hours and 26 minutes of light. For sun lovers, the winter solstice brings some good news because it marks when the days start getting longer again. The first astronomical day of spring, by the way, March 19th. Well, in case you missed our special Winterize with the First Alert weather team earlier this evening, not to worry. You can watch it again in full over the weekend. The first airing is Saturday at 10 a.m. on CBS7 First Alert. Then it will be aired again Sunday at 10 a.m. on KWWT My 30. And finally, Sunday on the West Texas CW at 6:30 early in the morning. And of course, Santa came to West Texas a little earlier this year to help students at Ben Milam International Academy start a new Christmas tradition by visiting the Buckner Children and Family Services. The students not only brought St. Nick, but also homemade fleece blankets that they gifted to those in need. They also continued with the holiday spirit by singing Christmas carols.
It's absolutely wonderful. That is the spirit that we need this holiday season. They were filled with joy, and it filled our cups. It was just wonderful to see.
The goal of the Buckner Family Hope Center is to build families and help them break generational cycles of poverty and neglect. Participating students were selected based on essays they submitted addressing the importance of volunteering and how doing nice things make an impact on everyone.
It's really important for people to feel loved and feel warmth, even if they don't really have any families to go home to. And I think basically it's important that we gave them all these blankets so that they can feel like they're loved even if they're alone on Christmas Day. So I just am really grateful that we were able to do that. Because I just like helping people, and there's some people that need help out there.
Students at BMIA say that they want to continue this tradition for years to come. And of course, like I've been talking about, the season of giving is here, and one Odessa man wants to make the most of this season while raising awareness about helping those who face domestic or sexual violence. Tryon Stevenson raised $6,300 in just 2 weeks to buy necessities and gifts for Harmony Home and the Crisis Center of West Texas. The Rough House MMA coach and competitor wanted to raise awareness that these nonprofits need help year-round, not just around Christmas. Stevenson wanted to raise enough money to fulfill an MMA ring. The load you see will grow by $1,500 worth of goods by this evening. He purchased according to the needs of those at Harmony Home as well as the Crisis Center of West Texas.
It doesn't matter if you can donate a penny. It doesn't matter if you can donate $100. You don't even have to donate money. It's about your time and where the heart is and what you can do with that. And let's not just do it during the holidays. Let's try and do it year-round if you're available to. It's just the effort that you put in.
All of the donations will be delivered this evening and used during the holidays and beyond. Tryon hopes to run the same fundraiser next year, but earlier in the season, with the hopes that he can fundraise even more next time around. And staying in the giving spirit, the Midland Fire Department received a generous donation from Chevron this morning. Representatives from the company visited the central station to present a check for over $130,000. This money will buy 7 Lucas compression systems. This is for the chest. It is an automated CPR device, and that means the department will be able to equip all of them ambulances with one of those devices.
I mean, one thing that we really believe fully is really getting into the spirit of giving back. Christmas time is all about, of course, the birth of Jesus Christ, but it's one thing to really just serve back to the community.
Happening tomorrow, the Midland Soup Kitchen will host their 37th annual Christmas meal for the community. Now, the Soup Kitchen says they expect to serve nearly 1,000 homemade meals to the Midland community, but that's not all they will be offering. Kids can expect free Christmas gifts, and teens will even get a gift as well.
Economy so overwhelming, they may not be gifts under the tree, but you know what, when you come and get your gift here, this is like their celebration. They make it their time with family. Meals will be starting to be served at 11:30 in the morning.
Let's talk your health headlines here. It's a big one. Today, Medical Center Health System announced that after months of discussion, they have reached a new agreement with United Healthcare to keep them in network with the hospital. In a statement, MCHS says, quote, "From the beginning, our goal was to ensure United Healthcare insured patients could maintain in-network access to MCH. We thank our communities for their support and patience throughout this process," end quote. Now, all of that is left is to cross the T's and dot the I's, something MCH anticipates will happen by the new year. And 'tis the season for all the respiratory viruses going around. New data shows from the CDC a troubling jump in the number of patients with COVID, flu, and RSV that are needing to be hospitalized. CBS's Don Ubakis has more on how you can try to keep your family healthy.
As we spend more time indoors, cases of COVID, flu, and RSV are rising.
Indoor environments, particularly in the winter, tend to be a little bit lower humidity, and that's been shown to help transmit some respiratory viruses.
Dr. Andrew Pekash is a virologist at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Data shows over the past several weeks, hospitalizations rose 200% for the flu, 51% for COVID-19, and 60% for RSV.
While we're seeing increases in influenza in particular at this time of year, they're not as severe as they were last year. And when we dig down deep at the viruses that are circulating right now, they all seem to be pretty good matches for the viruses that are in the vaccine.
But vaccination rates are lagging. The CDC issued an advisory that low vaccination rates against flu, COVID, and RSV with increasing cases could lead to more severe disease and strain on the healthcare system. Another thing we can all do to help prevent the spread of these viruses, pay attention to symptoms and stay at home if sick. Dr. Pekash says testing is also critical and needs to be done early after symptoms.
We have to deal with these respiratory infections every year. We shouldn't ignore them, but we have a lot of tools to be better prepared to deal with them, whether they be vaccines ahead of time, the extended testing that we can do right now for viruses, and the availability of antivirals.
He says using these tools can minimize the impact of these infections and keep more people safe. Don Ubakis, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Antivirals for COVID and flu must be taken as soon as symptoms begin, which is why it's critical to test early. Now let's take a look at our top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. You can see all these stories and more by downloading the CBS7 First Alert News app or visiting CBS7.com. And still ahead here at 9 o'clock, millions of Americans are under the threat for severe weather. What that means for your holiday travel, we'll have that next at 9. Well, travel news now. Millions of Americans are under the threat for severe weather again. While the Southwest braces for rain, much of the Northeast is still grappling from Monday's powerful storms that brought flash flooding and knocked out power to hundreds of thousands. All of this coming as millions of Americans hit the roads and take to the skies for the Christmas holiday weekend. Jen Sullivan reports on how it could impact your travel plans.
Christmas will be anything but white this year. Instead of snow, much of the country will be celebrating under gray and rainy skies. In Oxnard, California, which is 60 miles northwest of Los Angeles, streets turned to rivers, cars underwater, as heavy rains pummeled the area overnight Thursday.
My 2 cars in the driveway, they're totally flooded.
Coastal California could see 2 to 4 inches of rain in just a few days. Los Angeles could get more than a month's worth of rainfall.
Water got up to this height in my garage and everything started to float.
Flood risks stretching from California to Arizona. More than 25 million Americans under the threat of flooding just ahead of a busy holiday travel weekend.
We may see some bad weather impacting travel around Christmas and New Year's.
As this system saturates parts of the Southwest, the Northeast still recovering from Monday's storm. In Paterson, New Jersey, the fire department had to use military-style trucks to tread through high water and rescue people trapped in their homes Wednesday.
I was scared because I didn't know what was going to happen or what to expect or if we were going to be able to get out.
That same system dumping up to 6 inches of rain in parts of Maine and knocking out power to more than 400,000 people at the height of the storm. The rushing waters causing roads like this to crumble.
I declared a state of civil emergency for 14 counties.
The next several days will likely be some of the busiest travel days of the year. AAA predicting 115 million Americans will travel at least 50 miles from home this holiday season. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Well, still ahead, we're going to have a look at your first alert forecast as we take a live look over Odessa. You can see the Pilot Club Community Christmas tree there lighting off Grandview. Looking fantastic on this very first day of winter. Next, Chief Meteorologist Tom Teeferteller has a look at your extended forecast as we head closer and closer to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We'll have that next on CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, Here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, let's start off tonight taking a look outside at Starbright Village, where we are seeing some beautiful conditions out there this evening. Beautiful sights and sounds of Christmas out there at McKinney Park. So try to get out there and enjoy that. You still have time between now and January 1st from 6 to 11 each evening to enjoy the lights and sounds of Christmas. We started off mild this evening, but now we're cooling off quite a bit out there. As we take a look at the upper levels, we say goodbye to one upper level disturbance. Hello to another one here across the Pacific coast that's going to sweep in here over the next couple of days, and that is going to bring the possibility of some rain showers, even a rumble of thunder or two to our forecast across the area. But then as this whole system buckles a jet stream, it's going to change to a northwesterly flow behind it. And for us, that means a cold front is going to make for some nicer conditions and more seasonable conditions just in time for the Christmas holiday. Now, taking a look at the Texas view of the satellite and radar today, we saw most of the rain associated with that system across portions of central and east Texas, and that's where it's going to stay. So again, we did look at a little bit cooler day around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but overall temperatures very mild, a little unseasonable for this time in December, but that is going to change again as we move in towards Christmas. Pretty nice day on the way. We are going to start off with some low clouds first thing in the morning, a patch or two of fog in the forecast, and this should last across parts of the Permian Basin, lower Trans-Pecos till about noon or so before things clear out by the afternoon hour. So looking pretty good for travel before we see that next disturbance start to roll in early on Saturday. And that will send scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two across the area as we roll in towards Saturday. Rest of tonight, though, things look pretty quiet across the area, as we're going to see temperatures drop down into the mid-40s, mid-60s tomorrow across the area. Again, starting off with some low clouds early on for parts of West Texas, but overall, though, pretty quiet conditions by the afternoon. There's that rain chance coming up on Saturday with a 60% chance of some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder mixed in, but it's going to move through rather quickly. And by Sunday, that cold front starts to roll into the area for Christmas Eve, so a little bit chillier for Santa's visit. And it looks like Christmas Day highs into the lower 50s and staying chilly, it looks like, for the early part of next week. So looking pretty good for the holidays here in West Texas.
Tom, thank you very much. Still ahead, new year, new finances. We are talking about your 2024 financial goals with Jill Schlesinger in your Consumer News next here at 9. Well, in your consumer news now, can you believe it's already almost the new year? It's quickly approaching, and many of us are thinking about those resolutions for 2024. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says financial resolutions need to be your top priority.
If your New Year's resolutions involve money, you are far from alone. According to a survey from Fidelity Investments, 66% of Americans are considering a financial change. For the 15th consecutive year, the top ones are save more, pay down debt, and spend less. While these goals are admirable, they need to be more concrete and specific. So instead of the generic intention to save more, a tangible alternative is contribute 6% of my salary to my retirement plan. Instead of reduce debt, write down how much extra money you're going to put towards an outstanding credit card balance or student loan. And for spend less, determine where exactly and by how much you can cut back. These resolutions do share something in common. They require you to understand how much money is coming in and going out of your household. Before you panic, I'm not going to tell you to create a budget, but you do need to track your money, and technology makes it easy. A few apps that have free versions include Pocket Guard, Good Budget, and Honeydew, which caters to couples. For upgraded features, there's the app called You Need a Budget. It's $99 a year after an initial free trial. In New York, I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Still ahead here at 9 o'clock, sometimes our competitive nature gets the best of us, even if it means chugging a drink you don't like. I'll explain next in your holiday contest. Look at this next year at 9. Before we go, take a look at this. 7 students partook in their school's annual eggnog chugging contest. This happened today. The goal is to see who can chug a quart of the seasonal drink the fastest, and the bragging rights ended up going to 9th grader Jaden Hansen. It turned out to be a back-to-back win for Hansen. For the win, he won last year as well. And I can say I don't really like eggnog myself, but congratulations to him. We'll see you back on CBS 7 for the news at 10. Make it a great night.